Everybody.
Unmuted.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to ESA's webinar on risk-based oversight. My name is Farah Bourre. I'm the Manager of Stakeholder Engagement and Research at ESA. Our webinar today is about an hour, and I'll just bring you quickly through the agenda here. So we're going to have about 30 minutes of presentation, and then we will have 30 minutes for Q&A. And so the way that the Q&A works, you should have in your top right corner a little box where you'd be able to type in any questions you might have, and we will keep track of those here on our end. And at the 30-minute mark, or when the presentations are over, we will just review those questions and we will answer them for you. So just to let you know that we are recording this webinar today, and that we will make it available, the recording available, as well as the presentation available after the webinar. So I think that is about all of the housekeeping, and so I'll just review the agenda here today. So after me, we have Paul Shamus, General Manager of our Northern region, and he will be talking about the what, how, and why of RBO, and that will be followed by the impact on the authorized contractor program at ESA. And then he will follow that with the impact on hiring electrical contractors. And then I will finish up with how to get more information on RBO and the Q&A session. So let's get to it. So I'll hand it over to Paul. So Paul, take it away.
Alrighty. Thank you all for taking the time to be with us this morning. We're going to start talking right away about what is risk-based oversight. This is basically the way that we are going to evaluate installations in the future. So this is what we're going to be looking at is the likelihood of an incident occurring, and if an incident does occur, the severity of the incident. The way that we're going to look at the safety risk is who does the work, what is the work, and where the work is being performed. This is more of a scientific approach to actually evaluating every installation that's contractors are filing for. We're going to review basically the safety risk attributes on the next slide, but it will be going live in early 2020. And it's actually going to replace the ACP program and all other programs, all contractors, and all of the residential, commercial, and new and renovation work will be actually going through this model. So, as I mentioned, we are going to be looking at the who, what, and where of every installation that comes in. We have 9 attributes that we actually perform this risk assessment with. The who part of the attributes, rather, are the type of installer. So is it an LEC or a one-time customer? The history of performances on similar installations. So we look at their compliance with the Ontario Electrical Safety Code. On the what portion of the installation, we're looking at the accessibility, complexity, area of facility, building classification, and the scope of work. All those tie into how we are going to determine the installation, actually what they're doing, and the type of work that's involved. We compare that to their history of performance on this type of work. We also look at where this work's being performed. Is there public exposure, or is it outside? Is it in a classified area? Those type of things on the environmental factors. That all goes through what we call this risk ranking model. And again, if you look at the middle slides, I'm not sure if you can see my cursor, Those are the excuse me, the 9 attributes on within that that model that we're actually going to review. So the permit, now how this is going to work is the contractor is going to submit a permit, and it's going to go through a 3-step process. The notification will come in utilizing the same methods that they use today to file for an application. Again, the notification will go through those 9 attributes, looking at the type of installer, their history of performance, their defect ratio, a number of things. Then it actually goes through what we have as filters, and these are business rules that may override this this system. And actually, because what the system does is actually sends out information to the inspector to say, this is low risk work and you don't have to see it. You can pass it without a visit. This is medium risk work. You may want to see it, you may not. Or this is work that is higher risk and we want you to attend that site. So it's all based on the risk of the installation and a recommendation to the inspector. And I want to be clear on that, that the inspector always has the discretion to attend any site, much like they do today on the ACP program. And if you look at the workflow in this area, if the inspector chooses not to visit, he'll pass it without a visit. They'll issue a certificate. If he chooses to visit and there's a defect, the defect now feeds back into the system and does affect the contractor's history of performance. So that can change the risk ranking on future permits that he's filing with us. If it's a must-see, of course, we're going to go. If it passes, it will issue the certificate. If there's a defect, again, it'll flow back. So why are we implementing RBO? Well, we need to spend less time on the lower risk work. We need to spend more time on higher safety activities that are going on. So more impact on safety. We have large sites, complex sites that we probably don't spend enough time on. Our inspectors are extremely busy and we probably don't have enough time in the day to actually do spend with the contractors on site evaluations and meetings and that type of things with their crews. So we want to be able to spend some more quality time on larger sites as well. We want to spend more time on the underground economy. There's a lot of work going on by non-LEC licensed contractors in the province. It's been something that we've been trying to address for a number of years, but again, we've certainly worked on some pilot programs and this type of thing with this, but we are going to actually, we want to get our field frontline forces more involved in that as well. We have to level the playing field. Currently, ACP is a voluntary program that is very limited in scope. It certainly has many benefits, and we'll go through some of them in a little bit. But it doesn't work for all contractors. We have many, many really high quality contractors that the type of work they're doing, it just isn't a fit for them. And so it's sort of an unlevel playing field, and we need to level that. We want to make it easier to comply with the regs. We want to make sure that we are not holding up job sites in the workflow. And basically, if all contractors in the province will now be eligible for these benefits, and but they're going to have to actually maintain a certain amount of quality and parameters that will allow this. So what does this mean for LDCs? All contractors are going to be operating under the risk-based approach. All contractors are going to have the same opportunities. The ACP program, as we know it today, will end in early 2020 when we go live with this. And contractors aren't going to be able to identify themselves with the saying that they're an ACP contractor. And we also know that LDCs have some procurement policies and that type of thing that they reference ACP. or they'll say to homeowners, contact an ACP contractor. These are the type of things that you're going to have to start thinking about when we're going live, because ACP is not going to exist anymore. So the ACP program itself, we'll just go back in time a little bit, but it's a voluntary program for contractors, and it actually includes things like selective inspection, pre-authorized connections, but it is limited in scope. If a contractor, to qualify for it, would need to file 20 applications in the previous 18 months and maintain a very low defect ratio to remain entitled to these benefits on the program. There's scheduling benefits of RBO, and if we're looking at ACP contractors, they receive selective inspection. They can often get work done and passed without waiting for an ESA inspector. So this is an inspector will choose not to go to the site, pass it without a visit, or an inspector isn't even scheduled for the particular day that the contractor's ready for the work. And the contractor, it doesn't hold up the job, and they can continue working, insulating if it's closing in walls, that type of thing. And we don't slow down the project for them. Under the RBO, this is going to be available to all contractors. We're trying to make it easier to comply with the regs, and we're trying to actually keep the workflow moving along. What we're going to incorporate into the RBO in early 2020 is pre-authorized connections, after-hour emergency connections, and same-day emergency connections. And this is going to be where probably is the most impact to the LDCs as well. So we're saying that all contractors are eligible to have these benefits, but there's criteria for them to have these benefits. So they are going to have to take out X number of permits in a period of time. They're going to have a defect ratio that is very low. That means that they're doing consistent code compliant work. And they're going to actually have to do enough work within that stream of services and those type of things to be eligible for pre-auth connections and those type of things. And how do we know if the contractors we hire are eligible for these benefits? So right now you can go onto our website and you can look at the contractor lookup tool, and it's very specific on who is ACP. Well, it's going to be very specific. ACP is not going to be there anymore. It's going to be very specific on pre-authorized eligible contractors. We aren't grandfathering every ACP contractor over into this. We're going to reassess their history when we go live. They are still going to have to meet the parameters of today to be pre-auth eligible. And again, we're going to be evaluating every 3 months all of our contractors to make sure that they're maintaining the criteria, including defect ratios, to stay on the pre-auth eligible list. When we're looking at some of the effect on the LDCs, we want to talk about, because we're not going to have that ACP monogram anymore, we want the LDCs to start thinking about, looking at your procurement policies. Are you referencing ACP? Do you only hire ACP contractors to do electrical work? Are you only recommending ACP contractors to your homeowners? Does any of your literature reference ACP? And how about your work processes or manuals? Are they referencing ACP? And then are you anticipating any transitional issues with us? And this is the things that we want you to start thinking about. Again, we're going to be going live in early 2020. And we are suspecting that you will probably be dealing with many of the same contractors, but it may also open up the opportunity for contractors that are doing high quality work that are pre-auth eligible as well for you to choose from. And that's all going to be very clear on the website. Again, now I'm going to kick it over to Farah, and she's going to talk about more information. And if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in, and we'll do our best to answer them.
Sure. So we're a little early here, which is good. We might be able to give you a little time back. But if you need more information about RBO, we have a webpage set up on our website. So it's at esasafe.com/RBO, and we'll post information for LDCs on that site as well. And we have information there now. We've also created a toolkit for LDCs. And so when we send this presentation out, you'll be able to access it through this presentation on this link. We have a video there. We have an article. If you have any intranet sites available for your employees, or if any associations want to send out an article in their newsletters, that's available there as well. And we'll also have this webinar recorded. We'll have the presentation, and we'll have a list of Q&As up there as well. And that will be available in a couple of days when we get the webinar recording back. And you can always email us at rbo@electricalsafety.on.ca, and someone can answer your questions. You can ask us directly. So that's how you can get more information about RBO right now. And I will just now go on to the Q&A session. And I see we have one question here, and it is from Darren at Hydro One, and he asks, can ACP be replaced almost directly with the pre-authorization eligible?
For the most part, that's going to be the direct line that you're going to see on utilizing a contractor. So yes, if they are pre-authorized eligible, they will have all the benefits that they have had on ACP today. They won't be advertising that they're pre-auth eligible or being able to say. There was a competitive advantage with ACP contractors, which was the unfair leveling of the field, and that's what we have to do to make sure all contractors are on a level playing field. But that's absolutely correct, Darren, that basically pre-auth eligible is replacing ACP.
Okay, I'll just give maybe a few more seconds or minutes if anybody else has a question they would like to ask. Again, a lot of information is about RBO is available on our website, and we will and we'll also be going out over the next year up until and after RBO goes live with more information for LDCs and other stakeholders. All right, I'm not seeing any more questions or any more typing on the webinar. Again, you can email us at rbo@electricalsafety.on.ca, and we will send this webinar out to all participants, and we will post it on our website. So I'd like to thank everybody for participating today. Thank you.